So, did you know there's a specific English grammar rule that people actually use to hide the truth? Yeah. Today, we're going to investigate this little grammatical trick that helps people avoid responsibility and makes the guilty party, well, completely vanish. I know, it sounds like something straight out of a detective novel, right? But it's totally true. Just picture this, a classic interrogation scene. You've got the suspect under the spotlight, accused of a crime. They don't confess, oh no. Instead, they pull out this super sneaky grammatical defense. And there it is, our first piece of evidence. The suspect doesn't say, I broke the window. Nope. They say, the window was broken. See how different that feels? It's a statement of fact, sure, but it's passive. The action happened, yeah, but the person who did it, they're just gone. Nowhere to be found. Exactly, and that is the whole point. By using the passive voice like this, the doer of the action, we call that the agent, is just completely scrubbed from the record. The blame is left hanging in the air. You see, this isn't just some boring grammar rule. It's a tool for evasion. All right, let's put on our detective hats, shall we? It's time to examine our first major clue, missing subjects, especially in those vague-sounding reports. So take a look at this phrase, is thought to be. It sounds so official, right? It gives the whole statement this sense of authority. But stop and ask yourself, who is doing the thinking? Is it the police, a witness, the reporter who wrote the story? We literally have no idea. The subject is completely missing in action. And this chart, wow, it just perfectly illustrates the switch. Over on the left, in the active voice, you see exactly who's doing the thinking or believing. The police think. People believe. It's clear as day. But now, look to the right. In the passive voice, the police, the people, they just poof, they disappear. The agent vanishes, and what you're left with is this impersonal, unattributed statement. It is the perfect linguistic cover-up. Okay, on to our next clue. Was it an accident or was it an attack? Let's dig into how one single tiny preposition can basically be used as a weapon to hide someone's intent. So check this out. It all comes down to the difference between by and with. If you hear Dave was hit by a branch, what do you picture? Probably a branch falling from a tree during a storm, right? An accident, an act of nature. But if you hear Dave was hit with a branch, the whole scene just changes, doesn't it? Suddenly, you're imagining an unseen person using that branch as a weapon. That little preposition, with, implies there's an agent, that it was a deliberate act. It's such a tiny detail, but it has huge implications. You know, every good investigation has what they call a red herring, a false lead. So let's look at a case of hiring a helping hand. This is like a grammatical alibi that, well, isn't always about hiding blame. Okay, so look at this picture. It's pretty clear she didn't style her own hair like that, right? She had her hair done. That structure, have something done, it shows that someone else performed the action for her. But in this case, it's not sneaky at all. It's just describing a service she paid for. And honestly, this structure is super useful. We use it all the time to talk about services. You know, like, I had my car serviced. It can also describe unfortunate stuff that happens to us, like we had our car broken into. We can even use a little variation, like saying your hair needs cutting, to point out something that needs to be done. The key here is that the focus is on the object and the action, not on trying to hide who did it. So, as a good detective, you've got to know when a clue is real, and when it's just an alibi. All right, so we've looked at the evidence, we've analyzed the clues, you've now learned some of the biggest secrets of the passive voice. It's time for you to become a grammar detective yourself. And this is really why this all matters. From now on, whenever you read a news headline or hear some official statement, your spidey senses are going to tingle. You'll be able to spot the trick. You can start asking that crucial question, who is the missing subject here? Who's being protected? You've basically learned how to read between the lines. So, you ready for your next case, detective? If you want to master this skill and get really good at finding those missing subjects, you've got to continue your training. The place to go is concordhomework.com. You can get free advanced worksheets there to practice decoding these exact sentence structures. So, what do you say? Are you ready to go out there and uncover the truth?